Hello, everyone. Welcome to the July 2025 Koha-US Cataloging Special Interest Group. For our next meeting, August 7th, I am looking for a guest host. Turns out we have to go visit my father-in-law. So if you are active in the Koha-US community, this is really fun. All you have to say is, does anyone have anything they want to bring to the group? If you would like to dip your toe into the Koha-US community, this is very, very easy and very fun. And I would really appreciate it. Let me know. And I wanted to also remind everyone that our September meeting will be normally scheduled for when the Koha-US conference is taking place, so there is no regular September meeting. So if you want to be a guest host, let me know. It's super fun. It's so fun that I'm retired and I'm still doing it. We did have a question sent to me ahead of time. If people are thinking of getting rid of a paid bibliographic record provider, OCLC, Sky River, something like that, or you don't pay a provider, you don't use a paid bibliographic utility, where do you get your records? Excuse me. Can you recommend sources for free, good bibliographic records? This came from a public library system, but I imagine it's something that everybody would like to hear about.
Well, I could refer you to one of the presentations I did where you set up Z3950 and Library of Congress, National Library of Medicine. If you ask nicely, the British Library, uh, can't remember our username and password. Uh, and yeah, it depends on what you specialize in. And this is probably more properly asked of the MARC Edit group. Um, but is there a way to, when you're doing a list of ISBNs or LCCNs, uh, is there a way to slow down the requests like one every 10 seconds? Well, I see a couple of puzzled faces, so I think I'll go over to MARC Edit. There might be, but okay. How about a program that will convert old style Library of Congress control numbers to the new style?
What's the difference? I didn't know there was an old and new.
Yes, up to, I'm going to make these up. See, an old style is, let's say, 76-12345, which would be 1976. New style is, let's say, 2025, da, 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 da. And there is an algorithm, but I don't, it's kind of cumbersome to try to do it manually.
I just put into the chat the link to the MARC 21 format about the LCCN field, the zero, where they're stored is 010, and it does have the date ranges and the change.
Yeah, now.
I would say, again, ask at on the MARC edit list because there's a lot of people that do a lot of record batch modifications and changes. Maybe also ask on our cataloging group email list.
Mhm.
And if folks aren't on that yet, send an email to info@koha-us.org to join, because there's a lot of people who pay attention to the email list who can't attend the meetings.
Yeah, it seems like something doable. Like you could batch it in Excel and then push that into your record somehow or a spreadsheet
Mhm.
software, but haven't wrapped my head around that fully yet.
Right. I understand completely, more than completely, if possible. Because I have a lot of books that are pre-ISBN.
For the Z target question, I put a couple of links in the chat. I will note that with this move over to Cloudflare for Bywater partners, I have been having trouble using other Koha installations, like querying other code or Bywater partners for records. And from what I understand, it should work, but switching it to the from the .com to the .io hasn't always worked. So we do use the IR Spy to sort of go out and search for new targets every once in a while if we start coming up with a huge list of dead ones. Um, yeah. So I guess backing up, we do have an OCLC subscription. We're a consortium of 52 libraries, and we administer the consortium here at the central office. We have an OCLC subscription, so if a library needs a record, we go out and pull it, and that's a service that we provide for them, so that they don't have to pay for a subscription themselves. But we rarely use that, so we largely are using Z targets from other public library consortia. We've got Library of Congress in there. Anybody who's willing to share with us, we will use their records and copy catalog off of the Z targets if we can. And typically, if we can't find it in either place, then again, we're here to do from scratch cataloging for our member libraries. So that's sort of our tiered system of getting records.
Does SEKLS have an open Z39 port?
We're on that list. I don't know if it works anymore. That was
Okay.
so like I was able to so I have it set up in my system where we're a target of ourselves, so that whenever you do a search, we show up in the Z target results, so to avoid duplicates, because then I could put a message at the top that says, hey, this is already in the catalog. You probably don't need to import a new record. And that sort of works, but then I wasn't able to query our live server with our test server anymore. So I'm still a little unclear on how open we really are at this point. But if we can get it working again, definitely you can use us. I'm happy to share our records. And I will say, if you can't get the .com to work, try .o in the host name, because that's what everything's moving towards, for Bywater partners at least.
Does anybody have anything else they'd like to bring to the group?
I've got something. So I'll start bugzillaing away in the chat here. So this has come up recently with cataloging searching with Elasticsearch. And these are three that I'm posting to here because it's catalogers and you guys might be interested in some of these and commenting on them, thinking about them, discussing them. So one more here. This is an old one. What has come about is, so we have a lot of, there will be things in the catalog like the title horse, or the title is just cookies for cookbooks. And so you'll do a catalog search, title as phrase for cookies, and then everything else that comes, everything that has cookies anywhere in like the 245 or, you know, uniform title field, like everything that even just has cookies in the title ends up flooding to the top. So, these are just some bugs to kind of think about how you can get a better search if any of these were to get incorporated into Koha, so that if you are looking for a title, like a one-word title, that exact title match shows first, or you'd have like a left anchored title search where it says title begins with, or those are kind of the main things, but I didn't know if anyone else has had thoughts on title searching in Koha.
I'm wondering how this would be like compare contrast to the existing sort of browse feature, and I'm looking for the browse feature in one of the demos.
That I don't know about.
I remember it being less than ideal. The
When you
sounds fantastic.
when you say browse, what
That's what
what do you?
I'm trying to log into a demo to take a look at this
Okay.
new sort of thing that finally was in place that was a little
Okay.
Go ahead and
Yeah.
keep talking, and then I'll put something in the chat if I find it.
Okay. So I think so I will go ahead and add bug 38694 has been pushed to main for 2505. So that is a feature that is coming. And what that bug does is it boosts exact title matches in Elasticsearch. So that would help with those examples of one-word titles. Another thing we come up with a lot in our cataloging search was like when we had the title, we still have the title, the women, but people were trying to search for that in Koha, and like every other title that had women anywhere in it was bumping to the top over the one book that obviously everybody was searching for at that time. So, there's room for improvement in catalog searching. Especially since, you know, I don't know, I can't remember how long everyone's been on Elasticsearch from Zebra, at least for Bywater Partners. But so this, I think, some of this is probably taking a little bit to come to the fore.
Christy, I don't even think that we're on Elasticsearch, but I do find when I am searching through the catalog, sometimes at the desk for a few hours a week, and it's frustrating because if you have like a misspelling, someone will tell you an author and it'll be like one letter off, or you have to be so specific with Koha. It just doesn't generalize what you put in. And then I have to search sometimes 3 or 4 different ways to come to the title or the author that they want. So I find, yeah, it's not very user friendly.
I understand. Yeah, I've run into that a lot.
There are a few things you can like tweak and add. If you're still using Zebra, you can turn on fuzzy searching, which is the query fuzzy system preference, and that'll sort of like go outside of your search term a little bit to see if it can match something similar. Elasticsearch doesn't respect that system preference. There's a bug about that, but you can also put it in Elasticsearch, you can put a tilde after your search, and that'll do sort of like a, I'm not sure if this is spelled right, and try and guess the right term outside of those letters a little bit more. And I know that there's something called snowball stimming that you can have your vendor put in place that'll also do sort of the same thing, where it's like it'll do variations of the term that you type in so that it can give you more results. But sometimes more results isn't always better. So I don't know. It's definitely been a problem for us as well, getting quality search results and fighting with relevancy rankings and understanding what exactly is a relevancy ranking, like why is that at the top of the search when I have an exact title further down, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
This may be what you just described, but does Koha accept wildcards? For example, DISAB would look for disability, disabilities, disabled.
Not usually, not when you're doing like a title search. Sometimes I think you can put, let me give it a shot, just because I feel like I do this and then I say it works this way and then it doesn't. So I'm
This
trying
is-
to put like a % sign after a catalog search here with just DIS. And that does it as keyword search.
Okay.
But it doesn't, eh. Let's make it a little,
This is Disability Pride Month, by the way.
okay. Yeah, so if I do DISAB with a % sign after it, it gives
Mhm.
me nothing, no results.
How about an asterisk?
It's thinking nothing. That seems to break the search. Is anyone else
Oh.
coming up with that?
Let me give it a try.
I'm trying to find my little list of search modifiers because
Uh,
Elasticsearch does have different, so
Okay.
asterisk
Yeah.
stands in for 0 or more characters. So you can do C asterisk T and that'll search for CT, cat, coat, Connecticut, that sort of thing.
Okay.
Fred, that does seem to work.
Yeah,
It
good.
took a while for I think it took a while for it to think about it.
Excuse me a moment. I have to go reassure someone that yes, we'll be with them in a moment.
I can't find my actual document, but here's a screenshot for my little Patreon brochure of all the little search modifiers you can use in Elasticsearch.
That's fantastic and would be really, really useful, say, on the Koha-US site as a handout. Hmm?
Oh, here, I found the better one, and yeah, we can put it somewhere. You're right. Somewhere easier to find than my Google Drive.
I'm printing it.
Yeah, I'm getting at something went wrong when I go to that URL for the demo site.
Could I have your permission, Jason, to share this with sometimes we send out staff newsletters with tips and tricks for Koha. And I bet a lot of them would really appreciate this.
Absolutely, yeah.
Thank
There
you.
for anybody's use. If you need the like editable document, let me know and I'll try and find that.
I'll
I'm
be
sure it's
sure to-
buried somewhere.
I'll credit you in the caption. For sure. Also have another sort of cataloging, but sort of more reporting question. And it's just a general, how do you guys feel about trying to look for MARC fields using the reporting tool in Koha? I was just trying to write one. or use one to pull a 590 field. And I think it works using, you know, cobbled together Franken reports and things that were already in our system when we went live, but anybody's thoughts on those?
It was my experience and is my experience that a cataloger, say someone who like me, I would always just want to look for the exact mark fields. Having to look for where Koha maps things, and then you know, that added a whole layer of complexity. It's like if I know the data I want is in a particular mark tag, nay, even a particular tag and subfield, I want to just go for that.
Yeah.
And you can, and it's so much fun to figure out how to do that. I put the link to the wiki on querying Mark. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
a little bit of a climb, but it's possible.
And if it's just if you don't need a full report of everything, you can also it's pretty easy to add a particular mark field into the item search.
How so?
If I had access right now to the Koha-US demo, I could be more specific, but apparently something's up with it, and I'm sure it would, by the time I spun up a sandbox, the meeting would be over.
I'm curious about
Item
this too.
search.
How
Yeah.
how do you target specific mark fields with it?
Yeah, I added 590 into it.
Oh, custom search fields.
Yes, yes.
So like we've got one to get our non-public notes, the 952X. How did I do that though? I know there's a Monday Minute on it.
Funny this should come up because I was talking about 590 fields with a consortium of Philadelphia libraries at ALA last weekend. Would do 590s display in the OPAC or do
Ours did at work. I think they tend to.
yeah, I looked at the XSL file, the default one that I'm using for our catalog, and wasn't there, but it's certainly possible to add.
I'm gonna have to go back and look at this custom search thing again. I'm just looking at like I at some point set it up to look at field, but now I don't remember. Don't remember what I did.
It's one of those things that you do once in a blue moon, but yeah,
Right.
it's easy.
Yes. And you don't write it down because, well, it's easy. No, it isn't.
Okay.
I spent about 20 minutes this morning trying to get our copier to do 2 pages into scan 2 pages into 2 separate files. You can't. You can scan, you know, left and right side of book, well, but only if you print them, not save as PDF.
Those were very interesting bugs, and I think the wider Koha community would be very interested in those too. I think I could see those appealing to reference staff and CERC staff, anybody who's on an information desk as well. So maybe during the open discussion at the general Koha-US meeting, bring this up too.
Oh, I did. Yeah.
Tell which meetings I didn't make.
It was just yesterday. So I brought them up there too. But trying to get trying to get catalog search some love. Attention.
Well, does anybody else have anything they'd like to bring to the group?
Yes, is anyone here because they ran into the Koha-US table at the ALA conference? No, oh well.
I can pretend I was. I wasn't at ALA, but I loved your guys' table. It was so much fun to visit.
Yeah, I kept telling people, come join us. Cataloging is fun. I think I scared away a lot of people.
I can't imagine you scaring anyone, Fred. Well, I'll put out one more call. I know folks probably wouldn't mind a shorter meeting, especially since the weekend's coming up.
Okay, I will, oops, it's fell back. I don't even know if this is a cataloging thing, so,
It is. Everything's cataloging. Go ahead.
well,
Oh, really?
well, you say that. But, so I'm trying to see if there's a way to add a message to a bunch of patrons all at once, and it's going to be the same patron. It's like a batch tool thing, and I don't see it anywhere. And I was wondering if maybe there's like some trick that, or I'm just like, I don't think it's a thing, but I'm wondering if somebody has like a way to like add like a bunch of messages to like a batch tool kind of function.
To patron accounts.
Yeah, so if I'm
So
gonna,
there's a message field in the batch patron modification tool.
so it would be for the patrons. It would be not the circ only part. So is it okay if I share my screen really quick?
Mhm. Just found a bug 27123 needs documenting, add messages to batch patron modification.
So this one is the one I want to add message to, basically.
Yep.
I want,
So
oh, where?
if you go to more and then tools and then batch patron modification, that one, yeah. And then you put in the card numbers of all the people. So if
I'm
you
just
have
gonna
that,
use this guy.
it's never easy to copy a card number.
Okay.
It's always in like parentheses somewhere or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And then scroll down, there's messages
Oh my goodness.
right between opaque note, and then you can change it to opaque in that drop down, and that'll do your opaque note. Is that what you're?
How did I miss that? I thought that was for, oh, I'm thinking restriction. No, even restrictions here. You know what? Forget it. I'm blind.
No,
Yes, that is
we all
exactly
do
what I
stuff
want.
like that. This reminds me exactly of I've looked everywhere for something, and the minute I ask someone, then my eyes lay on it.
Okay, well, that's easy.
I'm sure that everybody knows this, but if you have, let's say, a row of patrons, or let's say the cart display, you can select the whole thing and paste it into a spreadsheet, and then just copy all the relevant things like the patron number. Saves
That's
time.
so what I've been doing is I'm deleting a bunch of patrons that don't that are not supposed to be in our system anymore because they belong to somebody else. So I'm going through and just to give them a warning that their account will be expired, that hey, go and verify like if you belong to this library or not. It deals with access and all that stuff. So I was like, wait, is this the one that I actually need to use? And it is. So thank you.
I think it really is cataloging because what we do is the data in the system. And you can think of a patron record as a cataloging record for your people, a
Right.
person. It's yeah,
Cataloging is everything.
it is.
Well, I appreciate you pointing that out to me. I'm going to mute myself and start working in the background.
No, I'm glad you asked, Charlie, because I'm sure there are people here that was really useful who had never seen it, and now they know about things that are possible. So, yay.
Yay! Anything for knowledge or
Right.
new things. All right, cool. I'm going
And
to.
it is like a very recent tool. It just came in 24/11. So
Oh, okay. Okay.
And it needs documenting. So,
I'm on the documentation committee. I haven't even started the EDI thing yet, so I'm going to maybe do that one first.
I just recently found a needs documenting bug and added it to the manual and did the process like pretty much all by myself. So I know it's exciting. And there's still only like 500 more bugs that need documenting.
Are you using the test site? Whose site is it? Is it Chris? No. Yeah, Chris gave us like a test site. Are you using that to like test things, or are you using like I was going to ask because you're retired now, right? So are you using like I'm sorry, I don't
I know it's weird. I retired and yet I'm still volunteering with the code.
that just means that you love it, so it's
Who
perfect.
am I? Yeah. I was using, and I like to use the Koha-US demo. And then if I can't understand what's going on or play with it enough to understand to document something, then I spin up a sandbox.
Okay.
And yeah.
Sense.
So
Well, perfect. I'll probably call you a lot more often now, so I'm sorry.
The latest Raspberry Pi 5 comes with 16 gigabytes RAM. And from CanaKit, you can get the complete thing, your case and cables for about $200. So Heather, if you want to set up your own server, that's how to do it. No, I'm shocked.
no, I was thinking it would probably be better for me to add a bunch more records to the museum branch that I was doing in the Koha-US demo.
I'm gonna put my plug in here for baby devs as well. If you want to spin up your own dev box, it's increasingly easy. So like at this point, if you're on a Windows machine, you install Windows subsystem you're on a Mac, so you're on a Linux machine. Yeah, so it's probably even easier for you because you don't need the subsystem for Linux. You already have it. And then you install Docker and like you type a few commands and it spins up a sandbox, but you have access to everything in the back end as well. So Heather, you should come to Baby Devs and everybody should come to Baby Devs because it's
That
often us driving and like Lizette makes me drive too much. We need more people to drive.
I missed the last two meetings, but honestly, I think I really enjoy those because not only do you guys give me keywords to study and all that stuff, but it's really interesting seeing like what you guys do in the back end. Hope
Yeah,
to
and
be
I'm a total novice. Like, I've got this bug that's just keeps falling out of signed off. It needs work again. But I don't have time for it except when I sit down with baby devs, then I like have that hour to look at it and figure out what I need to do. So highly recommend it if you're wanting to like dig into the code just a little further.
Well, I think this might be my future, like maybe in the fall, but first I want to learn more about Linux. So, I got this new System 76 laptop. It's Ubuntu. It's my second Ubuntu computer, but I want to brush up my Linux knowledge a lot. So, the System 76 fabulous tech support people recommended a free self-paced Linux course. So I want to do that. So I'm not just constantly copying and pasting and saying, oh, it did the magic.
That's my total understanding of everything I do. Oh, this command does a thing and it's magic and it just did a thing and yay.
the thing is usually I can go in and edit something if I've seen it before, but if you're talking about building it from the ground up, I am like totally lost. I was like, wait, why isn't it working? But yeah, no, the classes are, or not classes. Yeah, well, they're technically classes. They're very, very helpful and useful. I'll go to the next one for sure.
Well, does anybody else have anything they'd like to bring to the group? And I think we've proved that like everything is cataloging related, because just like we like to know what's in a MARC record influences searching, see, we are system administration curious and Linux curious. So anybody have anything else? Oh, a link for the classes. Let me see.
Oh, probably which classes? Are you talking about the baby devs or are you talking about Heather's thing? The Linux thing.
I think we should put both in the chat.
There you go, Jason.
I'll put in the one I'm going to start with.
I'll add the documentation committee link, if anything.
Oh, yes. And in the Mattermost chat. So I put into the chat a site where the Linux command line for beginners, that's where I'm starting.
There's the baby devs info. And the playlist is past recordings from our different SIGs meeting.
So Jason, this is a special interest group, just like cataloging?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
It's one dedicated to setting up a dev box and learning how to, so it's like trying to take a step past testing in the sandbox basically. And also if you're interested in learning to write patches, we've touched on that a little bit too. But it does get into the nitty-gritty and it can be a time sink. So just be aware of that. But feel free to like take a look at some of our past recordings and see if it's something you're interested in. One of the things that I'm gonna say but Lizette wanted the group to do is be support for people that want to set up that sort of environment. So even if you haven't ever touched on it, you can come to the meeting and we can walk through the steps and get a dev box up and running for you.
And of course, I can't find the documentation committee in my email, so going very slowly, sorry.
No worries. I think most of us are in the documentation channel on the Mattermost chat too, so feel free to pop in there. I think the next documentation meeting, I looked at the next one I can make is July 30th, but let me make sure if that's the next one. Yes, I think the next documentation meeting, and they're open to everyone, is, and it's super friendly people and super fun. 30th of July at 1600 UTC. That's 9 a.m. Pacific time.
I did remember that I filed a bug recently that involves some data loss if you're using course reserves. So sort of niche, but if anybody is using course reserves, what happens is if you use the attach item to move something in a course reserve to a different record and then delete the originating record, it gets removed from the course reserve. So we just ran into that randomly the other day and I tested it and confirmed it. So just something to be aware of if you're using course reserves. We use them for displays rather than course reserves, so they get a lot of traffic here.
The phrase data loss always makes me nervous.
It's a linkage removal, so it's falling out of the fact that it was a course reserve, which probably isn't a good thing. In my book, it's not, because if we don't catch it, then we don't get it put back in there.
I found the link to the course. I've had more coffee in the past few minutes. It's at training.linuxfoundation.org. Well, does anybody else have anything they'd like to bring to the group?
Well, this is definitely not cataloging, but it's like your opinion as to whether it is a bug and I should file something or not. I was when I go to advanced search and then fill out, let's say I'm looking for disabilities in this item type, and this item type, and I put in the year. No, and I realize I need to put in the year, so I click more options, and it erases everything I've typed in already. Wow, 3 people looking puzzled.
I'm wondering where your more options is.
Let me see if I can. Let me share my screen. You realize, of course, it's not going to work now that I'm showing everyone.
No, I see it now.
Okay.
It looks like when you click more options, it reloads the page, and that's why. But by default, our more options is expanded.
Okay.
So I don't know if that's a system preference or what.
I think the librarians are the only people who use the catalog, let alone advanced options. So maybe I should just make that the default.
Okay, yeah, it is a system preference. It's expanded search option. That changes the default behavior, so it's expanded by default for us, which is how we want it.
Found, made a note of.
Well, does anybody else have anything to bring to the group?
I will say what Fred just described is a bug. So you could file that. I mean, like the bug would be when switching from fewer options to more options in the advanced search, terms are lost and they should be retained. Because why wouldn't you want to retain your search terms when you're flipping that toggle?
Okay.
I do have a question. Thank you, Heather, for the link to the Linux training, but I don't know much about like programming and that kind of stuff. So I was thinking that in order to write reports and things like that, that SQL was the key, but is Linux actually better to use in Koha, or what's the difference? Can someone explain?
Great
So
question, Jason.
So like Linux is like the command line stuff, and that's actually the operating system sort of thing that you're using to write the code below Koha. So SQL is the code that you're writing within the reports module to pull data out of Koha. So SQL is structured query language. You're querying your database of information with certain terms and phrases to pull it back out. So that's the more useful skill set. Like having Linux know-how is an advanced skill set that you would need if you want to start writing underlying code. But if you're using it to communicate with Koha as a user, knowing SQL is like the best thing for just best place to start. And then like if you want to get into sort of customizing coding, that sort of thing, your languages are the more web development stuff like CSS and HTML and whatnot. The Linux stuff is more for development, ground level development. But so yeah, I would encourage you to focus on SQL if and you have to use SQL for reporting for sure.
Yeah.
Hopefully that was clear and I didn't talk in circles because I do that all the time.
Oh, Heather, you just got there ahead of me. Yeah. Linux, and what I use Ubuntu, which is a subset of Linux. Think narrower term in cataloging. It's operating system compared to, let's say, Windows. And yes, if you remember DOS, then the Linux command line is not quite as intimidating. If you don't remember DOS, kid, um, um, but if you can open the Windows command line um, and do DOS-like things there, and sometimes it's a lot easier.
And I'd like to recommend a recommendation Jason gave me for SQL. And if you, oh, of course you can't see it, but it's SQL queries for mere mortals. This thing is so useful. So thank you very much. As you can see, I've got like a bunch of like my little notes in there and stuff, but yeah. Like I said, well, this is what I'm talking about, especially when I did not know anything about SQL before Koha. And with Koha Wiki and that site that George and I want to say Chris. Oh my God, why am I forgetting his name?
Christopher.
Christopher, yeah. But and this book, like with that, I was able to just kind of do my own editing and test things out. And, you know, of course, like a lot of the times I didn't get any results back, but after a while, the first report I ever got back where I worked it out on my own, it was like such a rush. So I think I'm hooked on SQL now. But yeah,
Yeah,
those three things, very helpful. And of course, utilize everybody in Koha, because thank you, Jason. You got me on the right path, I guess.
the problem is that Jason and George and Christopher make it look so easy.
No, it's inspiring, not a problem.
Oh, okay.
One way that I've explained these things is you can think of operating systems, et cetera, sort of as when a baby is born, they are born with the operating system human installed. So think of a computer with an operating system as a baby. Then they have to learn the software language. So say a baby born right here in Berkeley where I am has to learn the software English. That's like Koha. So the baby comes to the family with human installed as its operating system, and then it has to learn the software English language. You can think of that as Linux and Koha, but then it's just sitting there. It's like, okay, it's got the language. Now the baby needs apps. It needs things like math and colors and how to cook and all these apps. And it needs the data installed, and it might need plugins and enhancements and things like that. So think of SQL as a way to start getting into Koha. SQL is a query language that is a way to get into the data that's in the Koha software.
Following on your very interesting analogy, uh, um, and I call it SQL, same thing. Um, Consider SQL a way of extracting information from the baby or when it's learned a few things, and give it a quiz, but you have to phrase the quiz correctly in
That's
order for it to make sense. Sorry.
No, that's brilliant. I love it.
I'm just thinking about SQL as a fussy baby now.
I love it. I
Well,
just dropped oh, sorry, go ahead.
yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I dropped information on education committee in the chat. So if anybody's interested, we try and create instructions for everybody and stuff to share with the whole community. And so the best way to learn is to create instructions, I feel. It just if you want to learn, I feel like this is a great way to do it. So if anyone is interested, our next meeting is in the chat. Thank you.
Charlie, this is not a special interest group?
This is the committee.
Okay.
Everybody is welcome. I know nothing of Koha, like, well, oh, I know a little bit of Koha, but I don't know as much as I want to. So this committee is helping me a lot with finding out how to do that.
I think of the difference between the special interest groups and the committee is if you're actually, I mean, both are open to anybody, but committee meetings tend to have agendas. And if you're actually on the committee, you're going to get work assigned, which could be fun. We don't really assign work in the special interest groups.
And you won't, if you come to the committee, don't get scared off by that statement. You're gonna assign the work to yourself. Uh, so it's all voluntary. But if there's stuff that you would like to see expanded on, like Charlie was saying, it's a good way to pick something that you're interested in learning more about, and then develop that in a way, that knowledge in a way that you can share with everybody. And then you kind of become the subject expert on a certain area of Koha.
In a very kind and supportive environment, I might add.
Oh yeah, everybody's so nice. I love it. It's just, yes, 100%.
Yeah, I have an assignment that has been in progress for the last 2 or 3, 4, 5, 6 months. And I told Sarah, yeah, it'll get done when it gets done.
That's okay.
And I've missed the last 2 meetings for various reasons. Maybe I'll make it to this one with my project.
Well, considering it's a couple minutes before the top of the hour, I'm going to wrap up. I'm going to remind everyone I'm looking for a guest host for August. If anyone's interested, let me know. And have fun in September at the Koha-US conference. There will be no regularly scheduled cataloging special interest group in September 2025 because there's the conference. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
Hey.
Bye.
Well, everyone,